So I remember when the movie came out, it said, Arnold, say the line, say the line. I said, what line?
Everyone thinks they know Arnold Schwarzenegger, the immigrant who made it, the Terminator, the Governator, a completely wholesome hero. But that's the first mistake. The whispers about a raid on a secluded barn on his ranch weren't just random internet chatter. They were the explosive result of a secret so dark it had to be hidden away from the world. We're peeling back the layers on the man, the myth, and the moment his perfect image was shattered, revealing something so shocking it rewrites his entire legacy. Secrets of the Phantom Barn. You see, many people are crazy about the idea that every celebrity has a dark secret. On Thanksgiving Day, 2024, it looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger's secret was about to be blown wide open. While most families were getting ready for dinner, an alarming call hit the Los Angeles Police Department. The report was terrifyingly specific. An explosive device had been planted in the mailbox of the former governor himself. For a man of Arnold's status, that's not a threat you take lightly. The LAPD response was immediate and serious. Officers were dispatched to his LA area home, ready for the worst. But when they arrived, something was off. There was no chaos, no panic. They searched the property, combing every inch of the area mentioned in the threat. The result? Absolutely nothing. There was no device, no danger, no threat at all. The entire thing was a false alarm. And get this, where was the man of the hour during this potential crisis? Arnold was exactly where you'd expect him to be, at the gym, getting in a workout before his Thanksgiving meal. He was pumping some iron, completely unaware that his home was the center of a major police incident. It's the ultimate Arnold move. While the world panics, he's building his biceps. The thing nobody tells you is that this kind of thing isn't new for major stars. Arnold's private security team wasn't even surprised. They told the police that the property was locked down tight with round-the-clock security and cameras everywhere. It would be, in their words, virtually impossible for anyone to get near the property to plant anything. The police quickly realized this wasn't a real threat. They classified it as a case of swatting. That's a nasty and dangerous type of criminal harassment where someone makes a fake emergency call to send a massive police force or even a SWAT team to a victim's house. Arnold wasn't a suspect, he was the target. But here's where the story takes a wild turn. The truth is boring. A star was the victim of a pathetic prank. The internet, however, doesn't do boring. The story started to twist and morph. You see, the language began to change in a very specific way. Police response became raid. A raid implies the person inside the house is the criminal, that the police are there to bust them for something terrible. Then, his LA home became a ranch. A ranch feels remote, isolated, a place where you can hide things. And the most crucial detail of all was added: the barn. A barn is the perfect place for a secret. It's where movie villains hide bodies, weapons, or fortunes. Suddenly, the story wasn't about a prank anymore. It was about federal agents kicking down the door of a secret barn on Arnold's secluded ranch, looking for something awful. This fictional narrative was far more exciting, and it spread like wildfire because, for decades, Arnold has been hiding secrets in plain sight. The truth of the swatting was sacrificed for the myth of the raided barn. The story of the barn was fake, but it stuck because it tapped into something real. What was that? Building the perfect man. To understand why people were so ready to believe the worst, you first have to understand the perfect, wholesome image Arnold spent over 50 years building. It's one of the most successful branding campaigns in history, and it all starts in a tiny post-war Austrian village called Thal. The picture he paints of his childhood is bleak. We're talking about a home with no plumbing, real poverty, and a difficult relationship with his father, Gustav, who was the local police chief. He's described his childhood as one filled with harsh discipline, part of an old-world mentality designed to break a child's will. But for Arnold, that harsh upbringing wasn't a tragedy, it was fuel. Bodybuilding became his obsession, his ticket to America. In 1968, at just 21 years old, he landed in the United States with almost no money and broken English, but with an iron will. This is the core of his story, the ultimate immigrant saga. He constantly talks about his love for America, framing his entire existence as proof that the American dream is real. He tells a story about his first Thanksgiving, when he was all alone, and people from his gym brought him food and plates. That generosity, he claims, is what made him promise to always give back. And that brings us to the second pillar of his wholesome image. Arnold, the digital age guru. He's not some out-of-touch celebrity. He goes on websites like Reddit and personally interacts with his fans. He gives detailed workout advice, he critiques lifting form, and offers heartfelt encouragement. In one famous case, a user was in a very dark place, contemplating the unthinkable. Arnold didn't send a generic hang in there message. He wrote a personal, uplifting response. That user later said Arnold's words literally pulled him back from the brink. This is incredibly powerful stuff. It paints him as a benevolent father figure to millions, a man who uses his incredible fame for good. He even rejects the label of a self-made man, always giving credit to the people who helped him, a touch of humility that makes him even more likable. The final piece of the puzzle is his massive commitment to charity. This isn't a recent PR move. He's been doing it for decades. He founded the After School All-Stars, a nationwide program that gives kids safe and productive things to do after school. He's a huge supporter of the Special Olympics. For over 30 years, he's handed out thousands of turkeys to families in need in East Los Angeles before Thanksgiving, an act he directly ties to that first holiday he spent in America. When wildfires devastated parts of Los Angeles, he didn't just ask his fans for money. He dropped $1 million of his own and challenged other rich people to step up. This is the image he perfected, the poor immigrant who became a global icon and dedicated his life to paying it forward. This is the wholesome Arnold, the man who seems too good to be true. But not all things are what they seem, and this perfect image has deep cracks. When winning is everything, the same relentless drive that built the wholesome hero is the very thing that fueled his darkest moments. The until in the viral phrase isn't one single event. It's a pattern of behavior that has followed him his entire life. To understand it, we have to go back to his father, Gustav. The same story Arnold uses for inspiration has a darker side. His father had been a voluntary member of the Nazi Party's paramilitary wing. While Arnold built his life as a rebellion against that authoritarian world, the win-at-all-costs mentality was baked into his DNA. He declared his will could not be broken, and he proved it, no matter the cost. His bodybuilding career was the first warning sign. The famous 1977 documentary Pumping Iron showed a man who was not just a great athlete, but a master of psychological warfare. He famously messed with his rival Lou Ferrigno's head, giving him bad advice just to sabotage him. But the ugliest moment came at the 1980 Mr. Olympia contest. Arnold had been retired for 5 years. He decided to compete at the last minute, showing up in a physical condition that was clearly not his best. He was smaller and less defined than his rivals, yet through sheer intimidation and influence, he was declared the winner. The reaction was explosive. The audience booed. Competitors walked off the stage in disgust, some retiring from the sport completely. CBS Sports, which was contracted to air the event, refused to broadcast it, believing the contest had been fixed in Arnold's favor. It was a scandal that proved he was willing to do anything to win, even if it meant destroying the credibility of the very sport that made him famous. As he moved to Hollywood and politics, the stakes got higher. During his 2003 campaign for governor of California, the Los Angeles Times dropped a bombshell report. Multiple women came forward with allegations of unwanted touching and inappropriate physical contact over a period of 3 decades. The number of accusers eventually grew to at least 15. While he gave a general apology for having behaved badly, the stories painted a disturbing picture. But the biggest scandal of all was yet to come. In 2011, the world found out that Arnold had a secret child, Joseph Bina, with his family's housekeeper. The child was born in 1997, just days after his wife, Maria Shriver, gave birth to their 4th child. He kept the secret for over a decade. The revelation blew his family apart and shattered his image as a dedicated family man. It was a profound betrayal that showed a stunning capacity for deception, hidden right behind the wholesome public mask. How can one man be both a hero to millions and a source of such controversy? The man, the myth, the machine. So what are we supposed to make of all this? Is he a good guy who made some terrible mistakes? Or a bad guy who is just really good at pretending to be wholesome? The thing is, he might just be both. The wholesome icon and the ruthless transgressor aren't two different people. They are two faces of the same man, powered by the exact same engine, a relentless, unstoppable ambition. Think about it. There's a fundamental paradox at the heart of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and understanding it is the key to understanding his entire, improbable life. The very same discipline required to meticulously sculpt a human body into the 7-time Mr. Olympia is the exact single-mindedness that allows you to bulldoze through norms and ignore the rules when they're in your way. That relentless focus is a tool, and he has wielded it to build an empire and, at times, to obscure its foundational cracks. The same world-conquering charisma that charms millions on a movie screen is the same instrument you can use to deftly deflect from uncomfortable questions about your past, flashing a grin where a straight answer should be. His greatest, most enduring talent isn't found in a gym or on a film set, it's survival, an almost preternatural ability to navigate the tempests of public opinion. He has weathered personal and political storms that would have permanently sunk anyone else's career. Yet he always seems to surface, stronger and somehow more essential. How does he do it? It's not magic. It's a playbook, honed over decades. When a crisis hits, the first phase might involve a brief period of denial or strategic silence. But this is merely a prelude to the masterstroke, a sudden pivot to blunt, disarming honesty. When the devastating story about his secret son with his housekeeper broke, he didn't hide forever in the shadows of shame. He eventually came forward and defined the scandal in his own crude, powerful terms, "My F up." By owning his most profound failures so directly and with such raw language, he performs a kind of public relations jujitsu. He seizes the weapon from his critics, takes the power out of their accusations, and begins, once again, to control the narrative. And what happens next is just as crucial. He immediately pivots back to the wholesome, the motivational, the universally appealing. He floods the zone with videos of his workouts, his miniature pony, and his charitable endeavors. He publicly and warmly embraces all his children, including Joseph Bina, integrating the source of the scandal into his story of redemption. He reminds the world of the good Arnold, the immigrant who made it, the fitness guru, the action hero. Slowly, through sheer repetition and force of will, that becomes the dominant image again. His latest act is perhaps his most brilliant reinvention. By becoming a vocal, rational critic of his own Republican Party's extremes, he has masterfully repositioned himself as a wise, post-partisan elder statesman. He's won over a whole new audience, people who might not even remember the groping allegations or the political battles of his governorship. So where does that leave us? Are we, the public, simply being outmaneuvered by a master strategist? Or does a lifetime of good deeds and motivational spirit somehow cancel out the bad? This isn't a simple equation. We are witnessing a lifetime of carefully crafted image-making. Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't a hero or a villain. He is the ultimate American paradox, a man who built his dream by being an undeniable inspiration, while sometimes leaving a trail of wreckage in his wake. Can someone's positive impact on the world ever truly outweigh their personal failings? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives.